Hey there, this is the One Boom, and today we're doing a very topical video. I just got my Xbox One X, and I've been playing Call of Duty World War II on it, as well as a lot of other games that I will be talking about later, because in this video we're just talking about COD World War II. Is it worth it to play it on the X? Now, if you've played on the Xbox One, the original Xbox One, you might have noticed in Call of Duty World War II there being some blurred edges, some grainy areas, and at a distance textures being very muddy. But more noticeably is the anti-aliasing around the iron sights on a lot of the guns. If you look through the iron sights on the Grease gun or the M1 Garand, you will find that the iron sights are a little bit fuzzy, a little bit blurry, and when playing on the Xbox One X, that's just not the case. And keep in mind, I'm not playing on a 4K screen, I'm playing on a 1080p screen, so the 4K assets and the 4K resolution is being super sampled for my monitor. And so even without a 4K monitor, I am noticing that everything is very tight. That's actually the power of a super sampled image, but there's no jagged edges, there's no blurry edges. There are some weird things that I think are just built into this engine, like certain blurring around certain bits of motion, even with motion blur turned off. I noticed it in the beta, you can notice it in some trailers, you can notice it on PS4, PS4 Pro, Xbox One X, and even on the PC. This engine just seems to have blur effects, again, even with motion blur turned all the way off. So you get a more sharp image without a lot of little jaggies around rounded edges or anything along those lines. And that's really important in Call of Duty. You don't want to aim down your iron sights and feel like you're looking through a ball of fuzz. And also, render distance was a problem on the Xbox One for me, just playing over the last couple of days before getting my X. The render distance, even on these small Call of Duty maps, it just didn't seem right. Well, that's not a problem anymore. On the Xbox One X, there is a render distance increase, and just the level of detail, the LOD at a distance is much higher. Also, there's clearly some better lighting effects. If you use things like the flare or anything that emits fire on the original Xbox One, the original PlayStation, you will notice that it's kind of lower resolution than it maybe should be. It's kind of hard to say, but it's almost like the lighting, like the flare and the fire, were at a lower resolution than the rest of the game itself. This is not the case, nor is it a problem on the Xbox One X. You will notice certain things seeming to be a little bit blurry or jaggy, but I've even seen PC gameplay where it's the same, so I'm guaranteeing it's the engine and what it sacrifices to get the best performance possible. That's also a good thing to bring up is performance. Is it a better 60 FPS? Well, I don't have a frame counter, and I don't really want to say it's a better frame rate. The only place I can definitively say it's a better frame rate is in the headquarters. The headquarters seems to run at a silky smooth 60 FPS, compared to on the OG Xbox One, which seemed to be chugging along at around 45 to 55 FPS. But on my Xbox One X, it seems to be running very smooth. We'll see how it runs when there's actually people in it, but even without people in it on the OG Xbox One, it ran a little bit clunky. So better lighting, crisper, sharper image, better view distance, and seemingly better performance. Even though all of those limitations on the OG Xbox were to make sure it had good performance, don't expect a massive frame rate increase. The game's at 60 FPS, what are you gonna do? So the next thing here is loading times. Loading times are much better on the X, I am happy to say. In fact, I find myself loading into games before other people. So basically, like when I start a match, I'm there at the loading screen, able to inspect my weapon and look around the map for a second, and no one else is loaded in yet, and this happened to me several times. So for me, it's safe to say that the loading times are increased. Also, just from playing on the OG Xbox earlier today before getting my X, I would say in comparison, you're getting a 40 to 50% faster load time on the X. And here's a bit of a spoiler, games like GTA 5, Battlefield 1, and Battlefield 4 have great load times on the X as well. So basically what you're getting, even just on a 1080p screen, we're not even talking about native 4K or HDR here. Just talking about the base game on your existing 1080p monitor or TV, you will see a sharper image, you will see cleaner iron sights, you will see less jagged edges, you will see faster loading times, you will see better performance, and a handful of effects that I feel like are from the PC version. There were some things that were actually catching my eye as I was playing, because I didn't notice it before, because maybe it was too blurry or the effect was toned down on the original Xbox One. Either way, guys, I would say the Xbox One X is not the definitive version you have to play, but it's probably the best console version. If you just have a base Xbox One or PS4, don't worry about it. You're going to be playing it, it's going to be fine, it's going to feel good. It's Call of Duty, it'll run on a toaster. But if you're a really big fan of Call of Duty World War II, and you're wondering if buying an X would make it better, the answer is yes. You will notice an increase in picture quality, loading times, effects. You will notice that it is just a better presentation of the game. As far as it giving you an advantage, I would almost say maybe. I lost a couple targets at mid to long range with certain pairs of iron sights in Call of Duty World War II while playing on the OG Xbox that I did not lose when playing on the Xbox One X. But that's not really definitive, that's not really anything. I just noticed that the iron sights were blurry, and to me it was distracting, so maybe that's why. But I will say this, if you just play Call of Duty, you don't have a huge, arsenal of Xbox games, or maybe you're a PlayStation gamer with a lot of PlayStation things, don't go out and buy an X just for Call of Duty, that goes without saying. In fact, if you're a PlayStation player with PlayStation friends and everything, I'd recommend getting it on PS4 Pro. I'm sure it's going to have a really nice sharp image, better effects, and better load times as well. This is just me saying that Call of Duty World War II is better on the X. There is a difference, there is a change. What that change means to you is subjective. The fact is that there is a change and it's for the better. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm making this video kind of late at night and I'm trying to let my voice rest. If you guys can't tell, my throat and my lungs and everything and my whole body is not really allowing me to have my proper voice back yet. So I'm taking it easy on recording. So I'm going to stop this now. Thank you guys for watching this short little video. More Xbox One X videos soon for those that are interested, even if you don't have it, just interested in technology and maybe you're thinking about buying one or asking for one for Christmas or Hanukkah. All other holidays are irrelevant. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. I hope my next videos are helpful and funny and fun. I have a rant coming up about camping. It's going to be great. I'll see you when I see you guys. Goodbye. If you made it to this point in the video, say butts. Yeah, alright. See ya.